Hello, my dear friends. Here I am once again for the 11 mindful minutes that I share every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And this is a series that is going on until the end of January. And it is aimed at sharing tips and practices of mindful breath and how this can be introduced in your daily life and used in a very practical sense. This is created for the Portuguese Association for English Teachers, the APPI, and it is part of the special interest group called Mindful EFL. EFL means English as a foreign language. But really, this is for anyone who would be interested in learning and practicing a more mindful life. So, today, what I'd like to share with you, and we always introduce the breath here. So, many people ask me, or I've been asked many times, why I share the breath. Okay, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. There are a myriad of breath techniques. There are so many, and they all have different purposes. So none of them are wrong or right. Each one has a specific aim. Having said that, there are many, many techniques, but there's only one natural way of breathing, which is through the nose. And unless we have some kind of breathing constriction, which is a restraint that does not allow us to breathe through the nose, or unless we are mindfully focusing on breathing in a different way, the natural way to breathe is through the nose. So, the main aim is that when we inhale through the nose deeply and softly, and exhale through the nose deeply as well. And when we inhale, our belly expands naturally. It's not something we need to think about or make an effort around. And then when we exhale, it relaxes naturally. When this happens, the body generally and naturally relaxes. Why? Because it gets the notion that everything is okay. So it creates what I like to call a safe space. If you watch a baby or small child breathing when they're sleeping, you will notice, unless they have any restriction or constraint in their nose, they will be breathing through the nose and their belly will be naturally rising with the inhale and falling with the exhale. This is being completely at ease, feeling completely safe, relaxed. So, the invitation with this, what I call conscious breathing or compassionate breath, is precisely coming back to the natural sense of breath, which many times, and even in children, not babies, but after a certain age, has been lost. And why? Well, because we face a lot of hard, traumatic, frightening situations. What happens is we tend to contract, and so our diaphragm gets contracted. And that means that when we inhale, we are only breathing up here because of the contraction of the diaphragm. And so the belly doesn't rise naturally. And then later on in life, which is what I'm sharing now, we have to consciously have the intention to relax our diaphragm and to allow the breath once again to flow in its natural way. So it's sort of like a process of coming back to our natural state of well-being. Because when the breath is flowing in this way, it is a natural state of well-being. And that activates a lot of things inside our body. And I'm not going to go into the science, but there's a lot of research around this, which you can look at about the breath and its effects, not only biologically, physically, but then, of course, emotionally and mentally. So, having said all of this, today I'm going to invite you to try out a little practice here. So first, we're going to breathe for a short while, for a few minutes. And if by any chance it's hard for you to get the breath down into your belly, don't force it. Just allow it to open up gradually, as if the breath were a warm heat that thaws the icy contraction, but it does it naturally. See, it's something that happens. Heat thaws ice. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to just naturally inhale deeply and softly without making an effort. So the idea is not, no, it is, you see, it's barely audible. There is no effort. I invite you to close your eyes so that it's easier to just focus on the breath and not get distracted with everything around you. It's much easier when we close our eyes because the eyes are a big distraction. And in this case, for sure, what we want is to turn inwards towards the breath. So let's try inhaling through the nose deeply and softly, and then exhaling through the nose completely. Don't count. It doesn't matter how long each phase of the breath is. It will self-regulate. Okay? So I'm not going to be speaking for 2 minutes or so while we just experience this inhaling and exhaling just through the nose. Okay? So let's go ahead. Okay. So your natural focus in this case is towards the breath. You just focus on the breath. And so now we're going to experience or experiment with something else. I'm going to invite you to inhale through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. Okay? But before doing that, just savor the way it felt when you were breathing right now. Just for a short while. And now let's close our eyes again. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Okay. So I'm not going to point out the differences. I'm going to leave it up to you. And you can experiment with this again. Do the first one and the second one and get clearer about the difference. Okay. One thing I'd like to point out is, though, of course, if you have a cold and your nose is blocked and you can't breathe through the nose, just breathe through the mouth, obviously. But we're talking about you're okay, you're healthy, and you're breathing naturally. And that is all for today. I thank you very much for being here with me and see you next week on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Bye-bye. Oh, and by the way, if you like this regular sharing, please do share as well. We have this going on our Facebook page, Mindful EFL, and also on our YouTube channel, Mindful EFL. And last but not least, Merry Christmas. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, anyway, I wish you each and every day that you have your heart filled with harmony, sense of wisdom, gratitude, and that you can really, really love and respect yourself with so much kindness that that's the only thing you can share with everyone and anyone. Thank you very much.